Hello, and welcome back to the Single Society. This is the podcast where we explore singles' life through the positive lens that it really deserves. My name is Jo, and I will be releasing episodes for you about different areas of singles' life, whether it's fully embracing being single or whether you are interested in potentially having a partner, coming along to a singles night, and then how to make the most of those. If you are not yet subscribed, I'd really recommend that you do that. It has two main benefits. The main one for yourself is, of course, that you can find when future episodes are released, you can stay in the loop, you know what's coming up, and you get those nice and easily. It does also, I will freely admit, have a lovely benefit for me, which is it enables me to grow this community of people so that we can keep having these conversations about being single. Today's episode is a very slightly unusual one. If you've listened to the ones already, then fabulous, thank you so much for doing that. This is going to have a slightly different format in that we're going to be reflecting on guided journaling as a tool for reflection and thinking specifically about self-love, setting boundaries, and self-esteem. So with that in mind, it is something that really anybody could listen to. Doesn't matter if you're single or not. These are really important things for all of us to be reflecting on. You may well have heard of guided journaling. It comes up quite a lot when people are talking about mental health, about their well-being. But I think even if you have, there are sometimes some misconceptions around it. So I just want to pause at the start and think about when I say guided journaling, what is it that I'm actually talking about? And I think probably the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people is they see it as being like writing a diary essentially. Now there's nothing wrong with writing a diary. Please do keep one if that's helpful for you and allows you space to process and reflect. But guided journaling is a little bit different. And I suppose one of the key differentiated words is guided. It's sort of reflecting and using writing as a tool for reflection in particular ways. So you'd have a prompt to reflect on. So, for example, things that you are grateful for, or things that might be causing you stress in your life at the moment. And then a follow up prompt might be, can you think of anything that you might do to lessen those stresses or to help you navigate them? So it's using journaling, which is a kind of writing, to explore things in more depth. Now, of course, if there's anything that you more seriously want to go through, with regards to your mental health, your self-esteem, your body image, please do speak to your GP. Please do consider working alongside a counsellor. This is very much kind of light touch, but valuable for all of us, whether you are experiencing challenges in any of these areas, or if you're simply wanting to be proactive, if you're wanting to explore positive psychology a little bit more and you just want to really ensure you are in a positive space, then guided journaling can be a lovely way to do that. Now, I've said writing a couple of times, and that is kind of the predominant form of journaling, is where you write things down. But it doesn't absolutely have to be. You could draw instead. You could draw what comes to mind for you. You could use scrapbooking, so, cutting things out of magazines and newspapers and using those pictures or words instead. There's lots of different forms. And I hope it goes without saying that this is where you want to be as uninhibited as possible. So please try not to think about things like spelling, grammar, etc. It just does not matter at all. That is not the purpose of this. It is just about self-exploration. So, with all of that said, there are sort of two ways of now engaging with this podcast. One is the standard way of listening to a podcast, which is listening along or watching this video if you are doing. Or you can pause after I've given you a prompt and you could journal along with it. So you could kind of listen part way. I am going to give you some prompts to reflect on in just a moment, and you could pause this and write them down. I am going to also copy the prompts that I give you into the description for this video. So you may want to listen to the end to start and then work your way through the prompts. Or if you are just wanting to listen, that's absolutely fine. I'll leave very slight pauses just a little bit in case anyone's wanting to hit the pause button. But then what I'll do for those of you that just want to listen is I'll explain the prompts just a little bit further, just to sort of give you some direction. So essentially, it is of course entirely up to you whether or not you'd like to journal. Now I've written down a couple on this sheet just here. As I say, I'm going to copy this into the description box. I'm not going to do every single one now, please don't worry. But if you see me looking down, if you are watching the video, that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking a quick glance. So, journaling is a very useful tool. Doesn't need anything fancy. Grab a notebook if you are wanting to journal along, or just some scrap paper is brilliant. And the first thing that I want you to reflect on and think about is somebody who is important to you. So that could be a family member, it could be a friend, but think of that person, hold them in your mind, and then I want you to think, how would they describe you? What words would they use to describe you? Now you can pause this here if you want to, or wait to the end and do them all together, or just listen for today, that's fine. But the reason I've started off with that prompt is often when we think of kind of self-love and self-esteem, one of the early stumbling blocks for a lot of people is it can feel quite intense to try and reframe the way we're thinking of ourselves. But if you ease in with a question like, how would somebody you love describe you? Hopefully that gives you a little bit of a steer, and it helps prepare you for the next prompt, which is, how would you describe yourself? And I want you to really try and focus on kind words here, loving words. What are your positive qualities, whether it be your personality or indeed your appearance? So first prompt, how would somebody who loves you describe you? And then how would you describe yourself? I would like you for now to focus on the positive. And then sort of sticking with this, thinking about people as well, I want you to note down as many different kinds, if you would like to, of course, if you would like to note down as many different kinds of relationship as you can think of. So like romantic relationship, friendship, sister, whatever you might think of. And again, pause this here if you want to do it now. But once you've got them, circle those ones that feel most important to you. What are your key relationships? Who are your key relationships with? And then what types of relationships in general do you really want to nurture? Where do you want to invest time into your relationships with others, but then also into your relationship with yourself? And you may like to think as part of this about how you show love to others, and then how you yourself would also want to receive and be shown love. And of course, very importantly, how you can show that love to yourself. So I'm going to copy lots more prompts for you into the description box. I'll do all those ones that I just said out loud then, but I will give you some more as well. And I would encourage you, even if it's something you've never done before, perhaps especially if it's something you've never done before, to just have a go, use these journaling prompts as a point of reflection. So I will leave it here for today, but make sure you've subscribed, and I will make sure that I'm here with some more episodes for you very soon.